So the signings are starting to come in on day one of the legal tampering period in the NFL. And as we expected, the San Francisco 49ers are at it and they are busy making deals. So let's break it all down for you. This is the 49ers Report on Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. Signing number one that we're going to get to, well, Samson Ebukam. Maybe many of you have never heard of him, but he's an edge rusher that the 49ers are bringing in from the Los Angeles Rams, playing in Brandon Staley's vaunted defense last year. He has agreed to a 2-year, $12 million contract, and that deal can be worth up to $13.5 million. And when you look at the analytics, the next-gen stats, this is a low-risk, high-potential signing for San Francisco. He had a career-high 12.7 pressure rate in 2020. That was 15th in the league for players who registered at least 150 sacks. So Samson Ebukam signing a deal with the San Francisco 49ers. What do you all think? Maybe you thought it was going to be some big-ticket free agent who the 49ers were going to sign. Instead, it's Samson Ebukam. Hop into the comment section. This is your opportunity to hop on board and join the show. I want you to rate this signing as an A, B, C, D, or F. We're going back to elementary school here, so rate the signing of Samson Ebukam. For me, hey, it's a B-. What can you say? As I mentioned, it's a low-risk, high-reward type signing. This is a player who, in 4 years out of Eastern Washington, has showed some potential. And when you plug him into a San Francisco defense that has a lot of talent, maybe he will be able to increase his game. And when you're playing alongside guys like Aaron Donald, sometimes you're a little overshadowed. You look at some of the numbers from 2020, 31 tackles, 4.5 sacks, 1 pass breakup, which you don't really measure much with outside linebackers and edge rushers. He also had 3 tackles for loss. And let's take a glance at the 49ers depth chart, because this is what Ebukam is hopping on board to. Of course, you have Nick Bosa, Javon Kinlaw. Hopefully they get more out of him in year 2 after he was a first-round pick last year. Eric Armstead there as well. So I think Ebukam's going to be able to step in and possibly get some consistent playing time right from the jump for this 49ers defense. So an interesting signing on day one of the legal tampering period for the San Francisco 49ers as they ink Samson Ebukam to a 2-year deal. And hey, we're going to be breaking down all of the 49ers signings, all of the latest news, rumors, all of that here on the 49ers Report. So if you're watching and you haven't subscribed to the 49ers Report, you can do so. Click that big red button down below. It's youtube.com/49erstv. Let's go on to a player who many people actually do know of, and that's Dee Ford. So Dee Ford's been in the news for several months. Why? Well, his future was uncertain with the faithful, and he's also been injured a lot the past 2 years. He agreed to a 2-year, $24 million restructured deal, and last year played only 1 game in 2020 due to neck and back injuries, which of course is a big concern for a player who is playing defensive end, given the physicality of the position. But there's no doubt when he is healthy, he is dangerous, opposite of Nick Bosa. So he's only played in 2 years, 12 games with the 49ers, but he's flashed that potential in that time, of course, coming over from Kansas City, where he was one of the best defensive linemen in the league. 17 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 6.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. So when Dee Ford is on the field, he is an impact player. And once again, we bring up the 49ers depth chart. Hey, a healthy Dee Ford on this defensive line, we're looking at a 49ers defense that could cause a lot of problems. Obviously, last year they dealt with a litany of injuries all across the board. If they can get healthy under DeMeco Ryans, first-year defensive coordinator, this is a defense that can certainly make some noise. But Dee Ford, 30 years old, highly touted prospect coming out of Auburn. He's had a great NFL career, but for him, it's the injury issues. Has to stay healthy with those neck and back injuries. What do you all think about Dee Ford coming back with the faithful? Are you happy? If so, type Y for yes. If not, hop into the comment section and type N for no. So the 49ers Report is brought to you by Manscaped. And with free agency in full swing, us here at Chat Sports, we're working nonstop because we're doing our service to you all, bringing you all of the latest news, rumors, signings, trades if they happen. So we don't have any time to do anything but work. That means that downstairs, it's going to get a little scary. So after free agency is over, that's when we can hit up Manscaped to take care of the business downstairs. And you can all get deals as well. Just head to manscaped.com/49ers. On your first purchase, you get 20% off plus free shipping. I know recently I used the Lawnmower 3.0 to trim everything down there so that I'd be ready for free agency without any worries. All right, let's move on to some of the latest 49ers news here. And we're going to move on and pivot to Kendrick Bourne. So he's been a dangerous number 3 wide receiver for the 49ers. According to Jeremy Fowler, though, he could be leaving. The Patriots are potentially working on a deal for Kendrick Bourne. He has multiple suitors out there, which is to be expected because he's a good number 3 and backup wide receiver. There's no doubt about it. And throughout this offseason, Kendrick Bourne has voiced interest in returning to the 49ers, and that feeling for both sides has been mutual. Why is that? Well, Kendrick Bourne's been a productive player in San Francisco from 2017 all the way up through this year. You're looking at a number 3 wide receiver who this past year, 49 receptions, 667 yards. The yards per catch is a solid number. The touchdown numbers, he's got 11 so far in his career. So he's been productive, but given the salary cap issues that San Francisco is having, they're right in the middle in the NFL. They might not be able to afford a player like Kendrick Bourne because the market might pay him a little bit more than San Francisco is willing to. So he might be on the move potentially, as Jeremy Fowler said, to the New England Patriots. When he is on this roster behind Deebo Samuel, behind Brandon Ayuk, as I mentioned, a very good number 3 wide receiver. But as we broke down last week, this is where players like Emmanuel Sanders possibly come into play. An older veteran who could come on the cheap, who could slide in to a former team, potentially slide into that number 3 wide receiver role, and maybe cost less than Kendrick Bourne, but Kendrick Bourne could be on his way out. Who could be on his way in to San Francisco? How about this name? And I'm sure many of you are so excited about this, given the quarterback questions around San Francisco. Mtichell Trubisky. Woohoo! Yeah! According to Mike Garafolo, Trubisky is on the list of quarterbacks that the 49ers are interested in this offseason. Harrison Graham, he's producing the show. He's in charge of our Bears channel. He knows all about Mtichell Trubisky. So do you guys. He was notably taken before Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. And to put it lightly, to be honest, maybe I'm even being nice, he's had an up and down career in Chicago, and he's going to be a free agent. I don't think Kyle Shanahan is interested in Trubisky as a starter, maybe as a backup option. And if that's the case, Mtichell Trubisky over C.J. Beathard over Nick Mullins, then that's a reason to get excited if you're a 49ers fan. As a starter, not so much. You look at the numbers, they've just been okay. He's been a mediocre quarterback. That's that. Not much to be said for Mtichell Trubisky, but a name to keep an eye on potentially as a backup option for the 49ers on the quarterback market. What is your one-word reaction to the San Francisco 49ers potentially adding Mtichell Trubisky? You can be nice, you can be mean. Hop into the comment section and leave your answer below. I'm new here at Chat Sports, so this is what I want you to do. We're going to keep you up to date with the latest news and rumors surrounding the 49ers. Give me a follow at Chase_Senior. And lastly, we're going to hit on Jason Verrett, another area of need for the 49ers. It's cornerback, and surprisingly, Jason Verrett was expected to have a pretty big market. He was expected to possibly get a multi-year deal, and the interest between him and the 49ers has been there, and surprisingly, Jason Verrett is back in San Francisco on a 1-year deal. So a 1-year player-friendly, team-friendly deal for Jason Verrett as he links back up with the San Francisco 49ers. Another low-risk, high-reward signing. He didn't give up a passing touchdown in coverage last year. Now the issue with Verrett, first-round pick, had some bright spots with the Chargers earlier on in his career, like Dee Ford, who we mentioned earlier. It's been injury issues with Jason Verrett. But when he's healthy, when he's on the field, he is a viable, legitimate cornerback. And that is a huge area of need for this 49ers team as they enter into 2021. Richard Sherman, he's most likely out of here. You have Jason Verrett there, and if he's able to stay healthy. This is a great option at cornerback for the 49ers. The deal can be worth up to $6.5 million. Verrett wanted a one-year deal to try and make more money next year after he had bet on himself last year, and that is a one-year deal worth $5.5 million for Jason Verrett and the San Francisco 49ers.